And we're live. Hi, hi, hi. Hey everyone, good afternoon. How you doing? How you doing, Miss T?
I am fantastic. I am so excited for today. Not because it's the end of it, but because we really get to pull the curtains back and we get to give away some stuff today. So I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, me too. And I'm really excited about um this whole week, and the responses that we've gotten, the questions that people have asked, both online and offline. So
Hmm.
it's really been good, So we look forward to your feedback. You know that the feedback, gives us a lot of energy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Good to have you back. Um, so today is day 5 of a series we called Loving Your Business. And today we're focusing on building a stronger business. And we talk about the initial live, we spoke about that, how you start matters. And if you put in the inner and the outer work to start strong, you have an idea of what is involved. You won't ever get an idea of all the things that are involved, but if you start from a place of knowledge and know how to position yourself both mentally and physically, then we believe that you will build a stronger business.
Hmm.
So T, tell us now,
Yeah.
what are some of the things that, or how did we learn some of the lessons
Oh
we
my gosh.
learned?
Yeah, so I didn't even realize as I was just about to say, one of my mentors, John Maxwell, has this thing. It's, um, where is it? Sometimes I win, sometimes I learn.
Hmm.
And so there has been a lot of learning
A lot of learning.
along, yeah, and just to tie it back to everything that we're speaking about. And, I think this is whether it's for business or just life. The first thing that became a learning moment for me
Hmm.
was that I, just kind of zeroed in on what my technical strengths were. This is what I'm good at. And so, I'm going to go out there and this is what I'm going to do. And I think on day one, I'd say it's a very different skill set in building that business. And so the first thing for me is that I did not even start to create a vision of what I wanted to build. And when you do that, you don't know where you're going. What is the saying? If you don't know where you're going, then the road can take you there,
Any road will take
something
you.
like that. And so that's the first thing, even coming out of the discussion that I want to say. Get clear on what it is that you want to build. It's not about knowing how and
Right.
knowing every step at this moment, but it's having that vision that becomes, our GPS, that our reticular activating system zeroes in on, so we can, iterate our way to get there. We'll fail,
Yeah.
we'll go, we'll up and down, but we have to have that place that we get into. So that was the first thing for me. What about you?
Well, that was actually one of the things. But my major thing came around just um, actually on the inner side, because
Mm-hmm.
even though I had an idea of what I wanted to accomplish, but just paying attention to, or being aware of the conversations that are happening in the background, the things that are happening on automatic in the background that shape my responses, that shape how I respond to things. So, for example, if I did something and it didn't work, I didn't treat it as a lesson initially. I treated it as failure. And I was like, oh my God, here I am
Mm-hmm.
thinking that, first of all, here's the thing. I come out of corporate on top of the world because you're managing these big budgets, you're managing people, and you're doing well at it. And so you come out of you come out feeling really confident, like I can do this, I did that, I can do this. And so, but it's a, one of the things is it's that it's a completely different ball game. You know, very often you're managing one area of the business in corporate, but here now you're managing every single area. And so the
Right.
question is, how do you prepare for that? And that was really difficult for me to work through. And to be very honest, Tanya helped me work through quite a bit of those issues. Just asking me the questions and helping me to work through. Okay, because at one point I ended up having some serious imposter syndrome. Like, who are
Yeah.
you? Who said you're bright? Who said you had any sense? Who is going to listen to you? And
I
the
have no certification.
I have no certification. And oh my gosh, the gremlins went, the committee had a really big and very long meeting.
Yeah.
And with Tanya's help, I was able to just roll it back to, hold on, Jan, who are you? What do you bring to the table? What's the value that you bring? You know? And for me to own that value, right? Because very often we get into to situations where we start to question ourselves, and you start to say,
Hmm.
boy, really, what made you think that you could do this, you know?
Right.
And of course the committee just chips in at the right time to ask you all the things, to say all the things that confirms it. I remember talking to a coach and she says, well, what evidence is there to support that this is so? Is there evidence to
Yeah.
support that you don't have any sense? And I couldn't find any evidence. And she says, is there evidence to support that you help people? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, and she's like, well, why are you entertaining this conversation?
Hmm.
And you know, it just had me pause for a moment and go, oh, okay. But the truth
Yeah.
is
So
that,
that brought us back to, just even the belief and the confidence that we spoke about on, was it day two?
right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah.
right,
So that's
right,
a big
right.
thing.
Hey,
Yeah.
Avis, welcome.
And so,
Was it
so
today
yeah,
or
and
yesterday that was your birthday, Avis? Happy birthday.
happy birthday, Avis, and welcome. And so, the second thing for me, so here's the flip now. We've been saying that, I am the inner coach and you're the outer coach. And as we've been friends and working together and supporting each other and coaching each other, the other thing that I quickly learned was structure, putting
Mm,
in structure from day one.
one.
you know um I had started out running, well, I can't even call it a business then. And that's the other thing, to get clear: am I doing a hobby, am I trying a thing, or am I creating a business? So it took me even a while to get to even the place of saying I'm creating a business. And so that's
Yes.
one of the big takeaways I want from us, to say this is what I'm creating. And so when you decide that, then you start to put in structures. And it's not about buying expensive
No.
platforms and funnels and brick and mortar and whatnot, but certainly it's not like what I did, was trying to run a business from from post-its on my desk. I put in post, or who called, who do I need to call, but organizing yourself and having some
Mhm.
structure,
And which goes
because
back to my point on Wednesday, Tanya, of having a weekly meeting, because this
yeah, yeah,
helps you with the structure. If it's you
yeah,
alone, have that meeting. Remember, you need to establish an organizational chart, and for every post you are it, but
yeah,
establish it because the role exists. And so it just means that there's some accounting to be done, there's some customer service work to be done, there's some marketing work to be done, but at the beginning you are it, but the structure now helps you to cover all the areas.
yeah. So what was the other big aha? And it may sound weird, the other big aha and learning for me also was that, the moment I decided on, I'm creating this thing to create impact, to help people, to solve problems, to support, and just leaning into it and learning different skill sets, and really started to enjoy and love what I was doing, things started to get a little easier, and I could
Yeah.
figure out things a little faster.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
the lesson from that for me has become, if it's a struggle, if you're not enjoying it, then maybe it's time to pause
Yeah.
and look at, why am I not enjoying this anymore? What
Hmm.
do I need to shift or change or get out of? Maybe that's it now. We don't want anybody to give up the business. But if I'm not enjoying it, so I don't feel inspired and taking inspired action, let me dial back a little bit. Let me just pause. So even if you have a business that you've been running for the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and you're feeling like it's more of an albatross around your neck, then it becomes time now. Let me pause
Hmm. Hmm.
and let me
And here's
understand,
where
because I'm
to
supposed to, yeah,
here's where to is a good place to have a conversation with a coach, maybe, that just to help
absolutely.
you work through those things, that you can be clear on what exactly you want vis-a-vis what you have, and work out the gap, and figure out how do I need to give up some things, do I need to maybe outsource some things, what do I need to do to get to
Hmm.
that sweet spot that I would like to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was another pothole for you?
One of the things for me, and it's a huge thing I realize for a lot of entrepreneurs, right? Where you have to decide what value you would bring. And that value, it's kind of attached to your point a while ago. That what value you bring. So you have this idea, and um, you jump out there without sorting the idea out first.
Hmm.
But then somebody says, oh, you're a marketer. You can do this for me. And so you get dragged into maybe graphic design or promotions, which is not the area of marketing that you really love and really inspires you, but you can do it. You understand? And so you do it because that's where you're getting the money. I had a client say to me the other day, boy, what the customers want is really not what I love, but that's where the money is. And so
Hmm.
she's extending herself in this position to make the money, but it's not inspiring her soul. And so what should be fun and easy becomes, I have to do this because this is the only thing that makes money. But the truth is that you weren't clear on what your value was, that the value that you're providing and who you're providing this value to. Because
Yeah.
sometimes it's just a little shift in the niche. So for example, if it's say for example a health coach, you may find that there's a set of people who want a lifestyle change, and there's a set of people who want to lose weight. And the set of people who want to lose weight, maybe the people who are talking the loudest, and the people, and but that doesn't feed your soul, because you know that this thing only happens and there's no real life change, and your heart is into
Yeah.
change,
I
you
mean,
know.
Janice, I take it even a little bit deeper, because we did promise to pull back so the real what's happening behind the scenes.
Right.
And so, another pothole which turned into, if you're in Jamaica, you will understand when we say pothole, the middle of the road was just big,
A cradle.
a crater.
Yeah.
And so even for me, a job came my way. And whilst it is that, yeah, I've done it before and I may be good at it, but I knew deep in my heart, this is not what I want to do. It doesn't make me feel expansive. It is not my zone of genius.
Mhm.
It probably wasn't even my zone of excellence. It was probably my zone of can do well enough.
Right. Yeah.
And being in the place of well enough from, and so, but I took it on, and I took it on because I ended up in a place of
Scarcity and
scarcity
fear.
mindset
And
and
fear.
fear. If I pass this up, will I be able to pay my bills this month? And let me tell you, doing that job was like headache after headache after headache. And the moment I let it go and I just surrendered what I my what falls within my zone of genius just
Just
appeared. And I
appeared.
know it's hard. I know it's hard, especially when we, as we said, we have the bills to pay and so. But what I would say is it's about being mindful about, as you said, the value that you bring, your services, who it is that you're serving, and really assess what comes in front of you if it
Mm.
doesn't line up with that.
Right,
Yeah,
right. And
yeah.
that whole thing about assessing what comes in front of you. Not everybody who presents themselves as a client is really a client, to be very honest. Because you know what happened? My other learning too is that sometimes you bend over backward to fit into a client's thing, and that becomes a really heavy yoke on you. You know,
Hmm.
you're like, so the person says, well, that's too much, and that kind of thing, and you're like, okay, how much can you afford? And you beg yourself, but then by the time you say, all right, fine, I'll give you a discount or something like that, then that person starts to ask you for more and starts to demand more, and it just
Yeah.
becomes really, I've had a few of those, and I've just gotten to the place where I'm okay if somebody says, well, that's too much. I said, well, I'm so sorry, this is the level of service that I provide, and I'm really sorry that you're not able to do it right now. And to
Hmm.
be very honest, I
Yeah.
used to feel so bad and so guilty about that, because it's like, Janice, are you turning down the money? But I've been down that road, I've made that mistake enough times to know that doing
Yeah.
that never ever serves me. Never
And it's
ever
and it's
serves
not
me.
and it's not and it's not just in whether it's whether you're consulting or coaching or providing a service, but even if you're doing products,
Right.
you do have customers who want to take your goods on credit, and then 90 days, has you give them 30
Yeah.
days and it's now
Yeah.
90 days, and you're constantly running after these people,
Yeah.
when it's about attracting. One of
Yeah.
the things I now write in my business journal, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm attracting my ideal clients who show up and pay easily and are getting results
Yes.
and are happy. And, I write that over and over and over. I remember once when I said to someone, don't be afraid to fire your customer.
That's my
you
thing,
know,
girl.
so yeah, so that was a quite a speed bump in just
Yeah.
getting to the place of belief that you are attracting your ideal customers, you're
Hmm.
attracting the products and the services that are aligned with who you are, so that we don't have to succumb to the circumstances and the mindset scarcity, so I have to be doing everything. And
Hmm.
doing, and that too was another thing for me, thinking that because of one of the things I do is leadership coaching and training, that is for everybody, because I mean everybody that can benefit from leadership, training and coaching and improving on their leadership. So I'm like thinking, ooh, everybody.
It's not
And so
everybody.
we're afraid sometimes to narrow down who it is that we serve,
And
and
Tanya,
yeah.
on that point, I really want to drive home the point of, a lot of these marketing gurus will tell you that the money is in the niche.
The
So
riches are in the
in the niche,
niches.
right? Riches are in the niches, right? And it's a very very true statement. If you think about it, a lot of times when I'm working with customers, with clients, and I say, well, who do you serve? And they're like, well, everybody. No, you can't serve everybody. Just take that out of your head from now. When we start the process and we say, what problem are you solving? Whose problem are you solving? This is really really important, because you cannot serve everybody. And
Yeah.
if you leave, and if here's what happens when you have that mindset. That mindset says, I don't, I always leave the door open for anybody to come in. So whether or not they're your ideal customer, it leaves the door for them to come in. And when they
Hmm.
come in, and so there, you don't have a very clear picture of who these people are. And even for a coaching business, it's very very is very, very important, because as Tanya said, everybody needs leadership. Everybody needs leadership. But the truth is, number one, maybe the customer is not at the place yet where they can assimilate your or they're ready for your services. I've had
Mm-hmm.
I've had a customer who has said to me, well, I hear what you're saying and it makes sense, but I've been doing this for so long, I can't change now. And at that point, I just had to say, okay, well, let's not continue this anymore. I had to fire the customer because at
Carry
that
on.
point, yeah, I had to just say, okay, carry on, because if you're not willing to change, then there's nothing I can do that's going to make a difference, really, you
Yeah.
know? So it's very important that you are very clear about who you want to attract, so you can have a service, say, let's use coaching, a service as coaching, and you think, well, everybody who wants to start a business would need coaching. But then you have some people who will say to you, well, I know how to do that, and I know how to do that, and you are trying to help them, and they're like, I don't know, I know how to do that, and I know how to do that. Hey, Javane, um, and it's they're just not following through. They're not doing the homework. They're not doing anything, but they're turning up and they're having these, and it's
Yeah.
just not going anywhere.
And so that was even for me. Well, I mean, one of my values has always been to be growth oriented. You know that. You know
Right.
what my library looks
Oh my
like, right?
gosh.
You know what my resources look like. So I realize that it's a value. And
Mhm.
so one of the things that I would want to say is also about being open to learning,
Learning.
being open to coaching, being open to training, being
Growth.
open to mentorship, being open to someone, pulling back. What is it that they say? If you're in the picture, you can't see the frame. Someone who can show you what you are not seeing, the blind spots. And
Right.
it's not about taking it personal to say, but you have to be open because so many things are changing.
Right.
You can't see everything that is going on. What are some
Right.
of the blocks you're having? And
Mhm.
that's why, a good coach, a mentor, an accountability partner, a
Mhm.
goal partner,
Yeah.
those things are all important.
Which just
Collaborating with the right people.
Right, which just ties into the thing of believing of, don't go it alone. Don't
Don't go
go
it
this
alone. Do
don't go it
not go
alone.
it alone.
Don't go it
Look,
alone.
let's just scream that out. Do not go it alone.
No, no, don't go it alone at all. Because you know what
But
happened
with that, it's also about knowing who you're collaborating with,
with,
whether it's
right.
partners or whether it's a joint partnership or just person or your team. Um, we want to ensure that there's alignment of vision.
Yeah. Yeah.
Importantly, there's alignment of
Alignment of the
values.
yes. So
Because we
on that
can know
note,
we can know that we all want to go to Montego Bay, but we
yeah,
may very well differ as to whether we're going to be taking the Knutsford or we're going to be driving. And if
driving,
we're
right.
driving, if we're driving
Who
on the
is
highway, or
driving?
who is
Right.
driving.
All
And
of
if we're
these
not
things.
lined up there, then as much as we all want to get to Montego Bay for some
Yep.
sun and sand, I'm
Yep.
just
Yep.
teasing
Yep. Yep.
my foreign people who are extremely who are
For
we're
cold
experiencing
now.
some serious snow right now. I got some pictures from a friend of mine, Chris. I don't know if you're on up in Canada, and I was like, "Ooh, beautiful postcards," but no, thank you. You know.
Exactly.
So if we all know we want to go to Montego Bay, but we can't agree on how we're gonna get there, we're not gonna get to Montego Bay. So
So
that is also really important.
yeah. So here's the other here's the outer part of that, the practical part of that.
Mm-hmm.
The good book says, how can two go together unless they agree? Right? Um, written agreements are critical. the minute you start to, whether it is a partnership, whether it is even with
A,
clients,
a contract.
a contract, written agreements are critical, right? Don't think that, oh, it's this person and I know them. No, no,
Is my
no, 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 no.
friend.
It's my
Is my
friend. No, no,
family.
nah, don't do it. Don't do it. As a matter of fact, it's not a personal thing. As a matter of fact, when you're discussing it, say, hey, it's in your interest and it is in my interest,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Because I have seen partnerships go so south. We are all friends and everything works out, and because there is no written agreement, everything goes south. Friendships go south, or even worse, somebody, because there's no written agreement, they figure out a way and they end up taking over the whole business. All sorts of things can
We're
happen.
fighting as to who is the CEO versus who is the COO versus who is the
Right.
general manager, who is the
Yep.
this. And so we
Yep.
don't have that clear, that clarity
Yeah.
as to the
Written
structure.
agreements are critical, very
Yeah.
critical. You know, take nothing for granted, spell it all out. So let me just give you some ideas of some of the agreements that you want to think about. You want to think about, if it's a partnership agreement. And I'll tell you straight up. I mean, most of the banks ask for it nowadays. So like one of my companies is with my husband, and we had to draw up a partnership agreement. A partnership
Hmm.
agreement speaks to how we handle money, how we make decisions, all of these different things. Um, Another agreement is a shareholder agreement if you decide to have a company. Another agreement is a sales agreement, a contract with a customer,
Hmm.
employment agreements with employees. Really, really important. And there are rental agreements. There's so many things. As long as it involves another party and you're entering into a long-term relationship or even a short-term relationship with them, just put something in writing. It's good for you and it's good for them as well.
The
What next?
University of Google has templates galore.
I'm telling you, right?
Yeah, yeah. Wow. I mean, I'm always amazed when we get to the time, Janice, because I'm like, what? Didn't we just start having this conversation?
Exactly,
How
exactly,
did
exactly.
we get, you
So, but
know?
now that we're here, though, T, let's talk about how, if people feel like we've provided some value to them, and or if they want to have a little bit more conversation, drop us
Yeah,
a DM, and let's have a conversation. Let's see if we can help you, and let's see if we can help to point you in the direction that
yeah,
you will want to go. So what I'd love for you to do is to drop a comment, and we had promised that we had some resources to send for you. So just give us a wave, and we will know to send you a resource as soon as we're all done here. So
yes.
resources, we have a what you call it again, Tanya? What's that? What's a leadership? Is it leadership or leading yourself?
Lead yourself. Yeah, that I spoke about how to
Right,
power up your day. So
right,
I mean, we are now the CEOs of our companies, CEOs of
right,
our portfolios. How do we power up our day, power through our day, and then power down in a way that starts to set us up, you know, for the next day.
right. So that's one resource. The other resource was the cash flow planner, and then
Hmm.
the other resource
The
is
checklist,
the
the
checklist, a
business one,
checklist of the
right?
things to look at, to think about when starting a business.
Yeah,
So just give us an indication if you're interested in these resources, and we will get them to you. And we really want to say thank you. Thanks for joining us on the ride. And this is not the end of these
we have
conversations.
received the comments offline and online, and so
Right,
we're working through how can we continue to serve you and just add value, because I really believe that now is the time, especially for us as women, and I know I'm not speaking to women alone, um to really create the businesses that we want, to create the life that we want, and what we deserve, what we desire,
Right.
and it's really getting that clear vision of what that looks like, and then supported, with with the structure and the work,
Right.
inspired action. So, we just want to continue to pour from our lives, the ups, the downs, the ins, the outs, the wins, the lessons, so we're looking forward to that, when
Yeah.
we come out with that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So reach out to us. We look forward to the conversations. We look forward to, helping you more, and really just sharing more of our journey. And
Yeah.
tell a friend. And I really want to encourage, my last bit here is encourage whoever is keeps pushing back that idea, that thing that you want to do, that thing that when you go to
Mm-hmm.
your bed and you're thinking about it, I said, boy, wouldn't it be nice if, or
Mm-hmm.
boy, or that moment of the day when you start to daydream, you say, boy, it would be so nice if I could do this. Oh boy, I really want to change people's lives in this way. Stop pushing the idea away. I'm challenging you. Just go for it. Go for it, and get the support. Don't go it alone, and just do it. So,
Awesome. I love that. I love
thank
that.
you.
And for me, wrapping up, it's about, for me, it's stepping into that thing you're purposed to do,
Yeah.
that calling on your life, that thing that makes you so excited to get up every day. And once you get dialed into that, resources will flow, the know-how will flow, the people to support you,
Will flow.
will
Yeah,
show up, so, but it's going to take work. It's going to take work,
for
but
sure.
it's going to be work that you enjoy, so we look forward to serving you some more. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Have a great weekend, everyone.